spelled I-N-K-A, not I-N-C-A, or to label the Aztec as the Triple Alliance or the Mexica. These changes may eventually be adopted by everyone else, but we feel that using more familiar terms will make it easier for you to match information you find here to other sources. Causes. Why was there an age of exploration? In 1491, Ferdinand and Isabella were driving to reclaim all of Spain from the Muslims. In the Andes Mountains of what is now South America, Inca Tupac Yupanqui was the glorious ruler of the realm of the Four Quarters. As the Christians drove towards the last Muslim stronghold in hot, dry southern Spain, and as the Inca tightened their hold over the high mountains, each expected the next year to bring familiar challenges. They were wrong. If there is one date that stands out in all of human history, it is 1492, the first encounter between advanced civilizations that had developed an ocean apart. In that year, Columbus crossed the Atlantic, bringing about change on a scale not one person on Earth could have imagined. But why was it Columbus, a European, who set out on that voyage? And why did the peoples of the Americas respond to the strange newcomers as they did? In order to understand these questions, we first have to look at both sides of the ocean just before they met. Europe sets sail. The turning point that led to Columbus's historic voyage actually took place in 1433. China had been sending one vast fleet after another out to ports in Asia and Africa. Guided by the able 7-foot-tall Admiral Zheng He, these were the largest, best boats in the world. Had the voyages continued, China would have been the master of the seas. But in 1433, the Emperor of China decided that the trips were too expensive, and he stopped them. That very same year, Gil Yanis, a Portuguese sailor, returned home in defeat. He announced that he could not sail past Cape Bajadar, a terrifying point in Africa considered to be the end of the earth. His master, Prince Henry of Portugal, insisted that he try again. The following year, Yanis succeeded. One ship after another followed him, until Portuguese ships rounded Africa and reached India. With Portugal in control of the new sea routes, Christopher Columbus sought another path to Asia, across the Atlantic. Columbus was not discouraged by the accomplishments of the Portuguese, just as Prince Henry refused to let Gil Yanis give in to his fears. Why were the Europeans so determined to voyage out into the unknown? They were hungry, but they did not lack food. Instead, they treasured new knowledge. They were intensely competitive with each other. They craved wealth. They yearned for glory. And they felt a passion to spread their religion to the ends of the earth. Religion. After the death of Muhammad in 632, Muslims conquered much of North Africa and the Middle East. In 711, Muslims invaded Spain. There were periods in Spain when Jews, Muslims, and Christians lived in peace, but in 1095, Pope Urban II urged Christians to fight a holy war to win back the Holy Land. In the 1400s, Spanish Christians began their own crusade to purify Spain. On January 2, 1492, Granada, the last Muslim kingdom, fell to the Christian armies. All Jews were soon expelled. As Columbus set sail, believers in the most battle-hardened form of Christianity were flush with their recent victories and eager for new crusades. Competition. In China, whether or not a fleet sailed was entirely up to the emperor and his advisors. But when Columbus looked for sponsors for his plan to sail across the Atlantic, he went from one royal court to another. The kings, queens, and royal officers who listened to Columbus's proposal were eager to find a new route to Asia. However, the idea of sailing west across the Atlantic seemed far-fetched.